Welcome back to the Modern Horror Stories podcast with Jamie, Dave, and Alex. Yesterday we talked about the 1974 film Black Christmas, and today we're going to suggest how we think we could make it even better. As always, kudos for the people who did make this film. It's very impressive to do that. But with the greatest respect, we're going to try to improve it. Who'd like to go first?
I will go first if that's all right. So I've only got a couple of things today, and they're very, very minor. One of them we talked a bit about yesterday, and we were talking about the idea of this as a whodunit, and I wasn't entirely convinced that it was. I do love a whodunit, so if it were me, I would have made a few more people suspects. Um, and yes, just sort of taken a little bit more from the detective side of stuff. I think the main characters, the girls, are far, far more important, but I quite like one of them as the detective as opposed to just the final girl. Just a little bit more sort of investigating and that sort of thing. But not a sort of huge thing. I love the film as it was. And the other thing was, and this is down to the 1970s-ness of the film, but some of the effects, I thought some of the blood and that sort of stuff wasn't perfect. But yeah, it's a forgivable thing. It's just something that if it were done again, I might fix.
I'll go next, and I've only got a couple of small improvements as well because I love the film. And they're all about editing, really. And whilst I said yesterday, there were certain moments which went on for too long, and I was 100% happy with them. There were some moments which I thought could benefit from a tiny bit of editing. One of them was Margot Kidder's scene when she gets drunk and she's talking about turtles that have sex for 3 days. That particular scene was probably my least favorite scene. Um, I'm not quite sure what the point of that scene is. She sort of says, "Everyone blames me for this," and I weren't quite sure why she thought everyone blamed her for that. But I'd be happy to see that scene edited or got rid of. Also, the housekeeper is killed by a hook in the attic. If you've seen the film, you know what I mean. And I felt the edit could be a lot better. She seems to turn around and stare at the hook. He's holding the hook for far too long, and I think she could have easily escaped. So a little bit of editing there would have been beneficial. And the last thing was just the carol singing scene. Once again, maybe just a tiny bit too much singing. Just a few seconds I'd take out of that. Really minor changes. Jamie?
Interestingly, yesterday I was talking about there was a point in the film where I was thinking, are they trying to be funny? Is this supposed to be funny? And I couldn't remember exactly which scene it was, and it was the turtle sex scene. It was that scene. It was like towards the end of that scene, I was like, this has been going on for ages now. What is this scene about? Oh, maybe maybe it's supposed to be a comedy, but I wasn't getting the humor from it. And yeah, so my 3 improvements. Number 1 would be pick up the pace. Just like slow paced films can really work, but I think this film would work better if it was just a bit sharper. It's kind of similar to what you were saying about some of the editing. The other thing, another thing that I would change is the voice of the killer, the moaner on the phone. We were speaking again yesterday of the DNA of this film in other films. Another film that starts a very similar way is Scream. The teenagers get a phone call, and then the phone call is from the killer. But they did that so much better with just that one consistent voice that was just scary enough, but also just real enough to work. Whereas this, it wasn't scary and it wasn't real. It was just like it was weird noises and weird sounds and weird voices, like of different people and saying names that never become relevant in the film. So I would have changed that. And also, speaking of things that never become relevant in the film, the there's a high school girl who gets killed, and there's a big search for the high school girl. But at the moment that the moment before that big search, the detective is like, right, we need to search for the missing college girl, and then that's just forgotten about. He doesn't mention. He has a big speech to the crowd, and he doesn't mention Claire at all. It's all about Janice. And then when, again, maybe my concentration drifted, and maybe I missed something, and I might be wrong in what I'm saying, but but then when the dead girl is found, it has no connection really to the main plot of the film. People keep coming and saying, "Oh, there's a dead girl's been found," and the main characters are all going, "Yes, I heard." Like, there's no actual impact. It's like maybe it raises the stakes somewhat, but it doesn't. Like, if that girl had been found by Jess, for instance, then that would have a much bigger impact. Or I don't know, or if Jess knew her, something along those lines. So yeah, those are my 3 changes.
I quite like 2 of those things.
Okay.
I was going to say, I really like the voice.
Yeah, me too.
Really?
Great voice.
Tell
I
me
like
more.
the changes. I like the inconsistency. I like the fact that things were thrown up in the voice that just don't bear any relevance. Because I like the randomness of this killer in the house with no motive whatsoever, apparently.
Also, I felt like the side plot of the dead girl just lent a little bit of weight to the fact that maybe there's a guy out there who's already killed this girl, and now he's in the house, and was it connected or was it not connected? Just kind of broadened the whole world for me. And the voice actually was done by 3 actors. Just a bit of trivia for you.
Very nice.
That was nice.
That's probably why it sounded like 3 different voices.
Probably, and also, if you've seen the film, and I hope you have, if you're listening to this spoiler-laden discussion, if you've seen the film, you don't really get to see the killer. I think in visuals, he's played by about 3 different people. Vocally, he's played by 3 different people, and you never get to see him as well, which I quite like as a concept.
So how many actors? You think we've got 6 actors playing the killer in total?
Yeah. I know, like, if you see a hand shot, it's definitely not the same person as the shadowy figure.
Right, yes.
Although the fact that I said the word conceptually in reference to this film, I don't think you should go to see it expecting a conceptual experience. It's a very 1970s slasher horror experience, but for me, it also has a little more.
It's got to be edited.
But the silence.
Yes, or unless it was a very deliberate silence.
Is it?
That was so relaxing, honestly. That was just what I needed. Sorry.
Yeah.
Just what I needed at the end of the day. Oh, it was lovely.
So on that note, we were gonna leave you to think about, have we improved this film? Maybe you think you can improve the 1974 film Black Christmas, in which case put your suggestions in the comments below. And join us next time when we're going to be doing a Christmas Terrifier special discussing our sequels for this franchise. Hope to see you then.